On DukascopyTv, we have been following the so-called shale revolution. Joining me down the line to give his latest perspectives on shale gas versus shale oil in the US and indeed Europe is Dr. Thierry Bros, energy analyst with Societe Generale. Dr. Bros, in the US, an oversupply is eroding the value of assets for shale gas companies. Do you think that shale boom is a victim of its own success?
Not exactly. I mean, yes, if you look at shale gas, I would say it's temporary victim of its own success. But keep in mind that the news flow in the US is more on shale oil than shale gas today. And shale oil is highly profitable at today's WTI prices. And the other thing why I do say it's temporary is because you mentioned there is an oversupply of gas in the US, but this oversupply I think will be eaten, if you allow me to say this, it will be eaten by extra demand in the years to come, and this extra demand can come either from local increased demand and, for example, fuel to use gas as a fuel for transport, LNG buses or LNG cars, but also to allow this gas to be exported under an LNG format, which the US administration is right now giving those permits away. So I do think that in the years to come we will see Henry Hub prices slightly increasing back to the above $4 per million BTU level, and so therefore we will see shale gas production being profitable again in the US.
While the companies are losing money on their assets at the moment, do you think they are going to stop buying, or are these trends more cyclical?
You're right. We've seen impairment of companies in the US on their shale gas play. Again, I do think that they are moving to the oily play. And again, I do think that in the years to come, the Henry Hub prices will move slightly up. And remember, 14, 16 months ago, it was below $2 per million BTU, the gas price in the US. It's today around 3.5. So we've increased quite dramatically in the last 14 months. And I do think we will soon cover the cost of production. Today, the problem is the price doesn't cover the cost of production in the US, but I do think this will happen in the future and not in the too long future.
Turning our attention over to Europe, I understand you foresee the UK leading the way in the bloc's own shale revolution. Why is this, and how will it differ from the US industry?
Yes, I mean, a year ago I was publishing my book after the US shale gas revolution, and I was mentioning UK and not Poland. And remember, at this time back in Europe, where all eyes were on Poland. What I'm saying is, I think the Polish geology is not as good. I do also think that the Polish legislation is in the making, so it will take time, and again, it will take more time for the industry to adapt in Poland. The UK is an interesting country. First of all, it has a huge and long history of producing oil and gas. And interestingly enough, what you've seen is the UK Prime Minister on the 12th of August signing a letter saying that he was in favor of shale gas production in the UK. And I think this is going to help the UK. I mean, it's going. What the UK Prime Minister wants is to allow more of the income to go back to the locals, which will win the local support, or will try to win the local support, but also we will have an industry that is more regulated in the UK than in the US, and so therefore the level of profitability of the industry in the UK isn't going to be the same as in the US. It's going to be closer to utility business model more than the oil and gas business model that you see in US, i.e. the return on investment will be lower, let's put it this way.
And should the UK indeed succeed, do you think this will give impetus to its European counterparts in terms of changing perspective regarding shale? And could this lead to a dramatic transformation of the UK economy, do you think?
I don't think it will bring a dramatic transformation of the UK economy, because it will be a lengthy process. Again, you have to win local support. This industry has to go for the exploration. The industry has to see if it's profitable and then do the production. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be massive on this side of 2020. But interestingly enough, I do think that it's going to help the UK economy. It's going to help Her Majesty Treasury. I mean, if you have more local production, then you have higher taxes, and that's something very important when you're in government. The interesting thing, I think, is if the UK succeed, then the rest of Europe will have to look at it, because the UK has a long history of producing oil and gas in an environmentally responsible way. And I do even think, and remember that I'm French, and I do even think that countries like France, which has a ban on fracking, will have to review this ban if the UK is successful in this. So my understanding is, as I said a year ago, we have to focus on the UK. If the UK succeed, then the rest of Europe will be able to follow.
Thierry, thank you so much for your perspectives today. Well, that's all for this week's First Commodities Corner, but click back to the website for all of today's programmes, including press review and an exclusive interview with Darren McDermott looking at the latest RBA meeting minutes. But for now, goodbye.